Hello and welcome to another Starfield episode here on the Mole RP channel. My name is ChaosMole and today we do the big TLDR of the Constellation Q&A, which happened in the official Starfield Discord with Will Shen, which was the lead quest designer, and Emil Pagliarulo, I just hope I pronounced that name right, who is the lead designer on Starfield. And what they did is they took 16 questions and answered them. Well, they handpicked those questions and they gave some really lengthy answers. So what we're doing here, I will read the question and then I will give you the TLDR of the answers the developers were given. If that is not enough for you, don't you worry. Down below in the video description, you will find a link which will lead you to all the questions and all the lengthy answers. So if you want to read this afterwards because, well, you don't trust what I'm saying, or you just want to read all the nitty-gritty, then you will find that link in the video description. Also keep in mind, there were some questions which were just fluff questions, like which movies do you take as inspiration and all that. I don't really find that too important and interesting for you as a player, so I left those questions out. But I will mention when that is a question I will leave out in the video. But again, if you really want to get like the long answer on all those questions, you will find them in the video description below. With that said, let's jump into the questions and the answers. First question, can we buy houses or property in main cities? And the answer is yes, you will be able to buy different houses in different cities all around the galaxy, and sometimes you have to do some quests to earn them. The next question is, if we get the kids stuff trait, will our parents be generated based on our character's looks, or are there standard parents put in place? What benefits might we actually get from the trait? So unfortunately they didn't really answer the last part besides of stuff. You get stuff. Yes, that was literally the answer. But they made it pretty clear that they're using the same system as in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, where yes, your parents will look very similar to you, the kid. Question 3. For those of us who have never played a Bethesda Game Studio game and will be starting with Starfield, what information should we know that will make the experience more impactful right from the start? And the answer to that is just enjoy the game. Like, just play the game, go with the rhythm, and see what it has to offer. There's not really anything they wanted to point out specifically, but they really just like, let the wonders of this game just for you, right? Question 4, this is actually really interesting. How will the smuggling of the cargo system work? Can we hide it somewhere on the ship and sell it for more currency later? So how this work is the cargo, which is illegal, will be considered contraband, right? Like every item you find which is illegal in the systems will be marked as contraband. So you always know if you have contraband in your inventory. There will be no surprises. And yes, there will be ship modules you can purchase where you can basically try to hide the contraband in and to smuggle it into like the planet system so that they are not catching you having some harvested organs with you, right? But, and this is interesting and new information actually, the economy is fixed. So that means prices for selling items, for buying items, they will not change. They will always stay the same. But depending on your perks and your skills, you will have ways to sell for more and to buy for less. So that is important to note, but the economy itself is fixed. Speaking about being a criminal, will there be a jail system if we commit crimes? And the answer is yes. You can select to go to jail or pay a fine when you're arrested, or, well, you can try to run away and fight your way out. So this is not Fallout 4 where you can just go around and murder everyone. You can actually be branded as a criminal and you might have to do something about it. But yes, you can go to jail. Will time pass when not in the game? For example, will my trade routes, outposts, and mining operations continue to produce, or does it only occur while actively playing? And the answer is actively playing. The simulation will not run when you are not in the game. Sorry for all the idle people who like to just come back after 2 weeks and then get the rewards, right? You have to have the game open. Next question, can you be a double agent in the game? For example, if you join the United Colonies, can you also join the Crimson Fleet and give the United Colonies information? And what factions have that feature if they do? So they didn't go into detail with every faction, but they said, yes, you can join multiple factions, that's not a problem, but at some point you might have to do some decisions. Let's say you are working for the United Colonies and the Crimson Fleet at the same time. At some point you will reach the story point where the game asks you to make the decision, right? Because if you're burning down the United Colonies, you cannot just go back to the United Colonies afterwards. They will hate your guts, right? And vice versa, of course. So keep that in mind. Speaking of burning down the colonies, question 8, depending on traits selected during character creation, will it at all be possible to play through the game in a pacifist mode, like without killing anyone or even potentially anything? And the answer to that is, unfortunately, no. No. There will be violence at some point. They really added a lot of systems, though, which will offer you the ability to just talk to people, figure it out through bribery, doing quests, or something like that. Like, they try to minimize the whole, oh, who are you? I don't like you. I kill you, right? They try to minimize that, but no, a complete pacifist run is not possible. Some people and some creatures will die around you. Sorry. Then they asked, what are the beliefs and basic history of the religions we can join? So, if you didn't know, there will be religions in the game, and 3 of them were mentioned, and that is the Sanctum Universum, Enlightened, and the Great Serpent. So Sanctum Universum is basically believing in God, and that God is somewhere out there in the galaxy, and you have to find him, right? That is one of them. Then there is the Enlightened, which are basically atheists, right? Simple as that. And then the Great Serpent, oh boy. So the Great Serpent is apparently pretty crazy. It started with a dude on a colony ship set off to a new world, and while they were making a graph jump, one person on this ship had like the talk with the Great Serpent, and while the graph jump only lasted for a few seconds for everyone else on the ship, for that person it lasted much, much longer. And after they were done with the graph jump, he was like, I have a proclamation to make. Get on board or be devoured when the Great Serpent encircles the universe. Right? So that apparently happened, or that's at least what people believe in. But they were not going too much into detail here how this will affect gameplay in the end. This one is interesting. Question 10. How many companions total will we be able to recruit? And this is an interesting answer. So because they have changed how the companion system works in Starfield, overall, you will be able to recruit 20 named characters. 4 of them are of Constellation and are the most story and have the most interaction with the player, but all of the named characters have their own backgrounds and can follow you around, like carry your stuff, fight for you. But with that said, you can basically hire an infinite amount of companions who are just in your base, in your ship, and doing work for you. They cannot follow you around. They don't have a story or anything like that. They are just there to run your places. And it seems like you have an infinite amount of those. But there will be 20 named characters in the game. When we assign crew members to work at outposts, do we have to pay them salaries? Well, bad news for you. Yes, you do. No slavery here. You have to pay them. But the good news is it's a one-time payment. So you pay them up front and then they work for you indefinitely. Speaking of companions, will our companions be able to level up their perks, and will their perks stack with ours? And the answer was no and yes. So no, all crew members start with a set of specific perks. Let's say somebody is really good with a rifle and they will already have like all the points in that perk they need. And yes, there will be other crew members which will have better perks or different perks. But also, let's say you are in a conversation and you need a specific perk to happen, those perks will add up from the crew members. So they will support you in conversations and all that when they have the perks you need, but their perks do not improve. So they do not level up, but they do come in different ranks, depending on the companion. Then they had some questions like, what are your favorite parts of the game? There wasn't really anything there, unfortunately. The same goes like with books or movies influenced some of the quests. Again, there was nothing really there. And then they also talked about some small details in Starfield to add to the immersion. Again, nothing really there here. But they were also asking about the mechs. Right, we have seen some mechs in, like, let's say the what was it, in one of the animated shorts. You could see the mechs and people were of course like, oh, can we actually control mechs? So Will said absolutely nothing about it. He was just silent. And Amir was like, well, they are the leftovers of the colony war. Right, it's colony war. And the Freestar Collective had a lot of mechs. Same did the United Colonies, but the Freestar Collective was much, much better with it. And the United Colonies mostly used beasts from their Xenowarfare division. But to make it pretty clear, no mechs you can control are in the game. They're not usable. They are in ruins. Maybe at some point that might change, but again, no mechs. Sorry. And that was the Q&A for Starfield. Like, there was some good stuff here. I'm actually pretty happy with it. Not as in depth as some people would have hoped for, but I would still was alright. Let me know down below in the comments what you think about this Q&A, how you liked it. And as I said, if you want to read the whole thing, which there isn't really much, like I did go through all the questions and gave you all the answers which were important, you can still look them up down below in the video description. With that said, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and also consider to subscribe to the channel. We are doing much more Starfield here on the channel in the next few days, weeks and months to come. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.